Hello viewers, I hope you are feeling well. I hope your English frequency has increased. I also hope my channel brings you benefits and helping you in improving your English language. Hello, my name is Jessica. I'm a student of English, and this is my story. I want to tell you about English pronunciation. You can read my story and learn English with me. On Wednesday, I went to school. There is one student in the class who is more quiet than the others. He's from South Korea. When our teacher asked if you had any question for her, this student from Korea said that he has a question. He said that he has a big problem with pronunciation. He knew that his pronunciation is not very good, but you did not know how to improve it. He doesn't speak much because he had bad pronunciation. He said that he read and watches films in English a lot. He understands very well, but he also wants to improve his speaking. He asked if he had something he could do to be better at pronunciation. He said, "Okay, I will tell you something about pronunciation and how to practice it. I will also teach you techniques which can help all of you to become better pronunciation." First, we have to look at why students have problems with pronunciation. When we speak, we have to move our mouth. We have to use muscles in our mouth. We all do that. The problem is that when we speak English, sometimes we use our muscles the same way you would use them in your native language. First, we have to look at then your pronunciation is different from the pronunciation of native speakers. This happens to many students to learn English. Almost everybody has a little different pronunciation than they should have. In fact, it is not a big problem because usually people understand what you want to say. Even if your pronunciation is not perfect. However, you can work on your pronunciation and make it better by a great technique which can help you a lot. The name of this technique is shadowing. The technique is very simple. When you do shadowing, you simply copy the sound which you hear. When children learn their first language, they learn it by copying. They copy after their parents again and again. And one day their pronunciation becomes perfect. If you can learn English pronunciation the same way, this is what you can do. You take some videos and audio recordings, which is not very fast and which you can understand very well. You listen and you copy what you hear when you hear it. That's all. Then our teacher went to website and she searched for the shadowing technique. She found good videos where the shadowing technique was very well demonstrated. We watched this video. Then we all tried to do shadowing about 3 minutes. Then our teacher told us shadowing is also good when you are preparing for presentation in English and you want to have good pronunciation. Before the presentation, you can go to some place where you are alone and you can do shadowing for about 10 minutes. You will see how much It will help you to have better pronunciation during the presentation. This was very interesting for me. I haven't heard about this technique before. When the lesson finished, I went to the school reception. I asked the lady if there are any sport activities at the school. I would like to do some sport in England. The lady at the reception says, yes, we have a table tennis team and a football team. The football team has training today at 5 o'clock. I was very happy because sport is very important in my life. I went to the training for the football team. I met a lot of players from different countries. The players are from Brazil, Japan, Russia, Spain, and Italy. I liked the training. I was very happy that my time in England started well. I have a great teacher. I also have some new friends from my football team. Also, tomorrow I am starting my job as well. When you want to have a good pronunciation, repeat after native speakers. On Thursday, I went to school again. We had new student in our class. Her name is Jasmine, and she's from Italy. At the beginning of the lesson, my teacher asked Jasmine some questions. My teacher knows Jasmine because Jasmine visited her class 1 year ago. It was a class for beginners, and it was only for 2 weeks during summer holiday. When Jasmine speaks, she speaks beautifully. Her pronunciation is very good and she is fluent. My teacher was very happy and she told Jasmine, your school in Italy must be very good. Jasmine says, I don't go to any school. I learn English at home. I use techniques that I learned from you. I do a lot of reading, shadowing, and thinking aloud. I try to think more in English than in Italian. This is how I work on my English. The 2 weeks which I spent last summer at your class helped me a lot. I went to learn from you again. My teacher was very happy when she heard these words. She appreciated Jasmine for her hard work. It is all very interesting for me. I already know about reading. I also know the shadowing techniques, but Jasmine also speaks about thinking aloud. I don't know what it is, so I asked our teacher, what is thinking aloud? Our teacher replied, it is a very effective technique. You have to have a strong motivation to learn English. If you want to have benefits from this technique, it is also good to know that for some people this technique is little crazy. But when you start to think aloud, your English can be better very fast. I said, I have a strong motivation. I don't care if the technique is crazy. I want to learn it. Can you teach us this technique? Okay, it is actually very simple. You think in your native language all day, every time. It is normal. Now you can start to think in English, and when you start to think in English, then you can think aloud. You simply say aloud what you think. It is all. I say it is very simple. Why is it very effective? Our teacher says, maybe you can ask Jasmine. She uses this technique. Maybe she can tell you more about this technique. Then our teacher asked Jasmine if it is okay for her to speak about experience with thinking aloud? It is not a problem for Jasmine, she said. When I started with this technique, it wasn't easy. I started with every simple sentences. For example, I can speak English. It is good that I can speak English. I want to be better. I need to practice every day. I don't know many words, but I can use these words. I can say many ideas with these words. I can do this. This is great. The sentences were really simple. But at the beginning, there was no problem. My thinking in Italian was long and complicated. I was not able to say in English exactly, but I said in Italian. I needed to find a simpler form for English. To think in simple English was the hardest part, but after some time, it was normal for me to think in English. Then something interesting happened. I met a man from Australia. He was on holiday in Italy. I was still a beginner, but we started to speak English. I could see that I was able to speak with him without having problem. My sentences were simple and short, but I was able to speak. I didn't translate in my head from Italian to English. After the meeting with the man from Australia, I started to use thinking aloud more. This technique helped me a lot with my speaking. I still use it every day. It is really a very effective technique. Our teacher thanking Jasmine for her experience with thinking aloud. I wanted to use this technique because I also want to get better at speaking. When you want to speak English fluently, thinking aloud, I want to give you extra advice. When you want to learn English, read, listen, think, and speak. Do each activity for 40 minutes every day. You can read, listen, and shadow hearing our basic English stories.